Hi everyone, I just want to take a moment out and say thank you so much for coming to watch our documentary. Based on the nature of this event, some of the contents in this film could be overwhelming. Otsego Antrim Habitat for Humanity also wants to give a special thanks and shout out to the community members that came out, that donated, and was part of this experience. Please enjoy. Thanks for coming.
Can you tell me your name, the position you hold, and the type of work you do for Otsego Antrim Habitat for Humanity?
My name is Tom Lenardowitz. I am the board president for Otsego Habitat for Humanity. We talked a little bit about where I was that day or whatever. And, it's one of those things that's in your mind forever once you have one of these tornadoes in your area. And I think, to put it bluntly, I think nobody thought that we could have a tornado here. We don't see a lot of tornadoes here in northern Michigan.
We prepare for stuff, but a tornado? Gaylord, Michigan?
Station 5, be advised that the National Weather Service has issued a tornado warning for northwestern Otsego County. 200 from Central, we just got notice that a tornado touched down M32 in Murner Road. Go ahead.
All right. I am responding to the area on the note.
It was gut-wrenching when the Weather Service called me. They told me I had a tornado coming. So my gut reaction is I got to get out of this building. I got to go up on the north of town to see if I can see where the direction of the tornado is coming at us.
1548.
So essentially, you've lost all stoplights on South Otsego there.
When I kind of became aware of how bad the event was, I was in a house with an officer that was almost completely destroyed, and we were searching to make sure there was nobody in there. And I was actively lifting something up to try to get access to the basement, and my personal cell phone rang. And I assumed it was probably going to be John Deming from Emergency Management, so I stopped to look at the phone, and I saw it was CNN out of Atlanta, Georgia, is what came up on my phone. That is probably the moment I realized this is probably a pretty large event, when they're already calling my phone.
It was just like a white wall, staring at a white wall, and all of a sudden, boom, and then I called 911, and that was like probably the second call, because when I called, they asked me, they said, is this out on such and such area? And I'm like, no, this is right on the corner of Petoskey and Wisconsin, and the roof in the front of me is gone. So I says, there was a tornado, and he says, there was a tornado? I says, yeah, tornado. Couldn't believe it either, that it actually came down in the city of Gaylord, because it hit out west of town first and foremost.
I think it was a shock, but it was a real eye-opening experience, because I think people sounded on your phones or whatever, there was a tornado warning, that there's a tornado coming, but people didn't pay heed to that, because we haven't had a tornado here in northern Michigan probably in over 20 years.
Well, we got the first tornado warning, and since we don't have tornadoes in Gaylord normally, I came outside and looked around, and there ain't no tornadoes coming.
We were making jokes, we got the warning on our phone about the tornado coming. I'm like, oh, here comes a tornado, joking around, because never think a tornado would happen here. We always get the warnings all the time.
It said tornado warning, and I jumped out of bed, and I come down the hall, and my husband's watching the TV, and the weatherman said, it's going to go west. It's going to go west. Just as those words came out of his mouth, everything went off. We heard a terrible rumble.
The power went out, and so I go to pull the fan out of the window, and I see the tornado coming, and I'm like, oh no. So I grabbed my daughter and took her into the hallway and shut all the doors. And as soon as I did that, all the windows exploded.
Then I heard a whoosh, and a picture fell off my wall, so I kind of what's going on? I grabbed after my black lab puppy, and then another whoosh.
We ran for the bathroom, got in the tub, and I'm just praying, Lord, just put your hand on our house, put your hand, because we just moved in 6 weeks prior. It came right over our house, my neighbor's house, my other neighbor's house, everyone. And we got out of the tub a few minutes later and went out the front door, and our first concern was our neighbors because they're elderly and wanted to make sure that they were okay. So my husband went that way, I went this way.
Like when it was finally over, I called him. I'm like our house is destroyed. I'm like, I don't know what to do. And he's like, calm down, calm down.
You know, I'm like, well, slow down and explain what's going on. And, you know, she turned on her video, you know, we video chat, and showed me I mean, our place was just, it was just in shambles, you know. I was shocked. I didn't know what was going on. Like it still hadn't processed at that point, and all I could think about was getting home.
I had 3 trees fall on my porch and my cars, and obviously I couldn't make it out my front door, so I told the puppy I have to go out and help. Went out the back door, and my buddies are handing me their kids, and you know, everybody's trying to see what they can do, and you know, it's just shocking. You don't see that happen all the time.
When you talk tornado, that's a whole different ballgame. You can see it on TV. You know, you saw Joplin, Missouri, and you saw Peoria, Illinois, and you see it. But when you live it and you actually see it and smell it, it's a whole different ballgame. And I tell you what, the community here should be really proud of themselves and how they responded to this incident.
Habitat, much like most of our community resources that day, they were beating down the door to help.
They came to us and said, we will help you. And I cried.
Habitat made their presence known very shortly after, before you weren't allowed in the park and stuff. So within the first week, they were in here trying to diagnose situations, and you know, like, you didn't know which houses were getting tore down or not.
After the tornado had came, and you know, like a week later, I started seeing the Habitat for Humanity signs in front of different homes, and then I seen that they replaced some roofs, you know, and I'm like, that's pretty cool, you know.
Once the tornado happened, Habitat, United Way, RSVP, volunteers, tool time, all hands on deck.
We work with the United Way a lot on volunteers. And they have a really large base of servant leaders that are ready to come out when there's, you know, something to be done. It could be anything.
When Habitat would have a need, they'd call us and we could get it out to our volunteers.
We will help however we can with what we do best in RSVP, which is we help with the volunteer piece.
Can you tell me your name, your organization, and what you guys do to help your community?
Okay, I'm Karen Byer. I'm the Director of Community Philanthropy and the Otsego Community Foundation. And on May 20th, the foundation stepped up. By that night, we had the Tornado Response Fund up and running so that people could monetarily help with immediate needs, which was some food, some shelter, maybe some car repairs, and then moved into short-term recovery, and now we're into long-term recovery.
A lot of the people in northern Michigan came together to help us, and especially to see Habitat Humanity in our own backyard step up was pretty impressive.
My name is Barb Derflinger. I'm the Lions of District 11E2, which is about basically the top third of Michigan. I'm the coordinator for what we're doing to assist after the Gaylord tornado. What we've done specifically with the Otsego Habitat for Humanity is we gathered about $7,000 in funds, which came to be used for materials. And then we also got a grant from the Lions Club's International Foundation, which bought materials to be used for things like the decking and stuff on this trailer over here. We also had teams came over on 3 or 4 work days and helped do things like strip the skirting off of these things, clean out the interiors of houses and so forth.
My name's Ken Monroe. Everybody calls me Skip. I've been with Habitat for Humanity for about 2-3 months now. And I'm the lead builder. kind of oversee all the trades out here and all the volunteers when they come out.
Why is Habitat for Humanity here today?
Today, the main goal was the park. We wanted to revamp it and make it a little bit more appealing to the kids and everything. Give them some place to go, because everybody loves going to the park, especially little kids.
A lot of people don't have space to hang out, you know. Mothers with kids, and I know a couple of those trailers or homes have kids in them, and we thought, hey, we're helping everybody else, and it's also like a breakaway from, you know, before we actually cleaned it up, it was an eyesore. Now it looks pretty, and kids might want to be out there.
The volunteers we have here today are actually from Petoskey, and they were very excited to come. They wanted to do a group day, and I'm like, the park is perfect. It's a great thing for a project, and a lot of them were younger, so they were hoping for a lot of youth to come with them too. And they were very excited.
Yeah, so my name is Hannah Bush, and I work at Genesis Church in Petoskey. My role within the church is the Love Your Neighbor coordinator, so I work in our local missions department to help facilitate ways where our congregation can get involved in serving in our community. I personally did a lot of research in the Gaylord community and seeing a way that we could be involved both monetarily but also with our hands, and working with an organization that is also proclaiming the name of Jesus Christ.
I am Sue Jordan, and I am from the Gaylord area. I've been volunteering with Habitat since probably about July, June, July maybe, something like that. When they started working out here, I signed up for them at the Alpenfest when we had it here in Gaylord, and so I've been out just about every time they've had to have somebody out.
So it's been amazing to get here. Every time you come over to work, there's a whole new crew of volunteers and more people that you meet. So this community has really stepped forward to help.
It's crazy. Even the trades we got, we pull special favors with them. Just they'll come out here and help us because it's tornado related. All around town, anybody that we've had to rent equipment from, stuff like that, they've been cutting us deals, you know, percentages off because it's tornado related. So it's Gaylord has been awesome. You know, I mean, the city, everybody. I had new guys that were out. Took a week, 2 weeks off after the storm hit. We're just running trucks and trailers trying to clean up all the trees and the debris down, and it was something to see.
Skip came to us and said he was going through the neighborhood, and he went to every house, and he came to us and he says, we're going to help you.
And then Skip came over and he pretty much made the same conclusion that, yeah, we could probably fix it.
People maybe need something that's unsafe in their house. Maybe they have a roof leak. Maybe their porch is kind of falling apart. Something to do with the safety of the people in that home, that we can come and do a critical repair for them.
The first thing they did was put the roof back on our front porch because it was completely gone. And the doors were blown out. All of the stuff in the porch was gone, in the yard. And that was the first thing they did so that we didn't sustain any more damage to the porch. They replaced the doors, the roof, a couple of windows.
I almost talk with Skip on a daily basis. Great guy. I mean, I'm sure if I ever asked him for something, matter of fact, my old deck started to fall, and I called him right up, and he's like, Angie, I'll be there within the day, man. He's like, we'll get your deck at least set up so you can walk on it and not be worried about your puppy hurting herself or anything like that.
The Habitat people are just wonderful people.
In your words, describe how your work with Habitat for Humanity helps your community.
Well, I can start with a lot of things, but currently the same mission that Habitat has had for years is trying to solve the housing crisis, and the tornado didn't help with that. So there's a lot of families that are displaced. Some of them, by the grace of God, we were able to get them back into their homes or keep their homes and stay in their homes and be safe. But the ones that were displaced, they still need somewhere to go back to. And right now, our current focus is really just trying to solve that problem.
Our caseworker, Chris from United Way, she called us and was like, hey, Otsego, Antrim, Habitat for Humanity, they want to donate a home to you. And we're just like, what? What are you talking about? Like this can't be true.
There's this stigma that Habitat donates homes for free. If we don't do that, everybody has to put in some sweat equity, you know, and also they eventually purchase the house, but we make it easier for them to do that.
We had a meeting with Chris from United Way, as well as Aini. She walked us through it, which, I mean, she's been tremendous throughout this whole thing, both of them.
If they really want to be in a Habitat home, they are committed. They go through processes, they go through learning, and then they still have an opportunity to really buy the house.
Well, Otsego Antrim County might as well be building us a new house, essentially from the ground up. As much work and repurposing and renovating, it's tremendous. This is huge.
We're helping them restore their houses, the families that were affected at the tornado. We'll be helping them get mattresses and blankets and totes.
Pretty much, they said if like we need beds, dressers, washer, dryer, refrigerators, pretty much anything that we basically need for a house.
So anything that was damaged, we can replace into these homes.
Otsego Antrim Habitat for Humanity, they are using anything they can do to help as many people, but keep their costs down.
We start with using God or having God in our lives, and as part of what we do, we are here to provide and build houses for those who God has entrusted us to support.
Aini and her staff has been amazing.
Aini is a servant leader. She is one of those that she doesn't have to be out front all the time. She is leading. She's leading the volunteers, she's encouraging, she's cheerleading, and we want to make sure that as Habitat of Michigan, we want to make sure that she knows that we're supporting her in all walks of what she's doing. I'm John Williams. I'm the president and CEO of Habitat for Humanity of Michigan. I'm here in support and to thank the community that has been doing work and encourage others to continue to do work in what we do for Habitat for Humanity.
Today, being the board president, I'm here to support what we're doing here at Nottingham, a celebration here of what we've accomplished here at Nottingham.
In one word, tell me what Habitat for Humanity means to you.
Habitat, one word. Amazing.
Hope. What comes to my brain as soon as you said that is compassion. If you don't have compassion, you can't work here.
Just the people and everything that have given so much to us, you know, whether it's time, whether money, whether, you know, resources, a trailer. You know, I don't know what to say. I'm blown away.
I mean, I'm just grateful, like I said, for Otsego Antrim Habitat, United Way, Chris, Aini, Skip, pretty much all, like everybody in the community too. Like, they've been amazing.
Man, it'll be tough for one word with them. You know, I could go with rapid, I could go with thorough. They filled a void that would have been weeks away from, you know, the usual people that we would think would fill that, would tend to those needs, would have been available to do it. It would have been weeks.
I think restoration. Like if I had to pick one word, it would be that one, because we want to get you back to normal, but a little bit better.
The one word I think that I would look at Habitat is we care. I think it's a very strong word, care. Thank you to everyone in the community and everyone that supported us here. We've had a lot of contractors, a lot of volunteers, and I want to get a shout to them all. Thank you.
I will have to say the whole Otsego Antrim Habitat for Humanity, they're a blessing in this community that I don't think people really realize. They knew the restore, they knew the houses once a year that got built, but now they see what this organization really does, and that is help people.
To my knowledge, you have a sweat equity program that helps families earn a Habitat home. And on that, how are Nate and Jess?
Oh, they're doing great. I mean, it's right now during the holiday season, and to give a home back to somebody at the house, I mean, they got a Christmas tree up, they got presents underneath it, and they're just so joyous to have a home back here in the community.
we're fortunate based on tornado that we were donated this trailer and contingency that would, you know, bring it back to shape and, you know, give it to a family that is affected by tornado.
Yeah, I need to let people know that we don't give these homes away. They're not free, all right? It's a low interest loan, which is really low. I mean, rent is very high these days. It's gonna be a lot less than renting.
How can our community give back and help Otsego Antrim Habitat for Humanity?
First of all, we have restores, and restores really support our goal. And so if you have used furniture, you have old plates and dishes that you need to get rid of or whatever, please bring those to our restores. We have one in Mansalona, one here in Gaylord. Those would be great things to donate that help support our cause. I know you're working on a project right now that might lead to many
homes, yes. So we are currently working on a development project. It's us building like 16 new homes within the next few years. And with that project, you know, we're hoping that the community does step up and help us with the funding of this project, and also trades, developers, anyone that's interested in joining this journey into combating the housing crisis. We would like to invite you guys out.
Are there any other ways we can support Habitat for Humanity?
Continuing to donate so that there is, you know, funding available. Continuing to come out and volunteer, because not everything has to be monetary.
And we need all these community support groups to really help us build new homes here in the community. And their support would be greatly appreciated as we're now kind of getting out of the tornado era and now back into normal life. We need these organizations to help Habitat. So we need support of the community. And we had it during the tornado, but now that the tornado's over with, I'm always worried that now we're not gonna have the support. So please support us. Habitat does great things in here to the community to give homes, to help repair homes, and to really do a lot of education that you have. You don't really maybe advertise as much education as you have available to the folks out there.
Especially for what they need, like financial coaching and home ownership. So we ask for you guys to continue to support us so that we can move into our restore phase and hopefully build about 16 new homes within the next few years. And with that ask, we have a donation button. You know, get to our website, otsegohabitat.org. We have a donation button, and even $1 can help. So $1 can go a long way.
I'd like to take this time to thank you for reviewing our story and remember those who passed away during the tornado.